Welcome! My name is Meeple, they, he, she, and today we are looking at and talking about hidden systems, water, electricity, the internet, and the secrets behind the systems we use every day by Dan Nott, published by RH Kids Graphics, part of Penguin Random House in 2023. A middle grade nonfiction comic. As far as content notes go, this book did give me some, quote, colorblind vibes. So be prepared. And while it's not a focus, Nott does highlight how these topics overlap / have contributed to catastrophic climate change, which isn't always what I'm ready to read myself, so I wanted to give a warning. Looking over a few bios, I found out that Dan has been drawing since he was a wee tot, and reportedly been trying to use comics in school for almost as long. He lives in Vermont, graduated from the Center for Cartoon Studies, co-runs Parsifal Press with his partner Daryl Sejcik, and now teaches an MFA course on comics history, theory, and communities at the Center for Cartoon Studies. Keywords that came to mind reading this volume: blue, history, story, small blue dot, interconnection, empire, power, displacement, pollution, and diagrams. The summary over on Goodreads is, quote, "We use water, electricity, and the internet every day, but how do they actually work, and what's the plan to keep them running for years to come?" This nonfiction science graphic novel takes readers on a journey from how the most essential systems were developed to how they are implemented in our world today and how they will be used in the future. What was the first message sent over the internet? How much water does a single person use every day? How was the electric light invented? For every utility we use each day, there's a hidden history. A story of intrigue, drama, humor, and inequity. This graphic novel provides a guided tour through the science of the past and reveals how the decisions people made while inventing and constructing early technology still affect the way people use it today. Full of art, maps, and diagrams, Hidden Systems is a thoughtful, humorous exploration of the history of science and what needs to be done now to change the future. End quote. One of those books I just saw on my library's new acquisition page and had to check out. As a comics supremacist, I feel extremely strongly that for many people, combining learning material with lots and lots of pictures and diagrams is the best possible way to learn. And this book did not disappoint. Combined with the way that Nott framed all this information in compelling stories, this was a very easy read where even an adult like myself had something to learn. Overall, I thought the art was also very good. I liked the symbols key at the start that really layers the way information is communicated in each picture. For most pages, it felt both very detailed and simple at the same time. The one drawback is what I already mentioned about it feeling a bit, quote, colorblind. To be transparent, I am a white settler person, but particularly in books that present vast swaths of history and the world, I begin feeling concerned if I see a disproportionate amount of white-looking faces. Looking back through the hidden systems, a majority of people are in a blue tint, sometimes with a light blue wash, and sometimes without. Very rarely, it was a light tan. Focusing just on hairstyles, there does seem to be some level of hair texture diversity, which perhaps is meant to denote different races as they are socially constructed. But I came away feeling like dark-skinned people's contributions and existence in these hidden systems was largely erased visually. Similarly, many of the people who are literally colored tan are depictions of cave people and or other sorts of, quote, primitive people, which is a choice. That said, as far as the text went, Nott does touch on a lot of issues that face marginalized groups. There's discussion about the ills of colonization and building dams without consent, as opposed to land back as a positive goal. Borders are also called arbitrary, and we get a short section which counters a lot of eco-fascist overpopulation false talking points. Not that one justifies the other, but they are contrasting elements of this book. Human sexuality seemed fairly expertly avoided entirely, with an equal lack of heterosexual norms and queer rep, which seems fair considering the book's content, but you never know sometimes. As far as human figures wandering around the landscape of infrastructure, people seem to be expressing a diversity of genders. Class was lightly touched upon. Examples that come to mind is the wealth divide for electricity initially, and then the urban-rural divide for electricity, and subsequently the internet. Ability and disability are once again totally ignored. To conclude, I would almost rate this 5 stars, workers, just because it does such a good job as something I am so passionate about, but I think I'll have to settle on 4, which is still not shabby at all. Bye y'all, keep reading and stand with striking workers. And as always, Literally Graphic is created on land that should be given back to the traditional landholders, which in this case is, to my knowledge, the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, Anishinaabe people, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Huron-Wendat Nation.